Everybody, this is TJR. A while back, I had some fun looking at Jimi Hendrix and Prince Funkos and discussing them as guitar players. And so if you enjoyed that video, hopefully you'll like this one too. Superfan decided she wanted to buy Duran Duran, the band, as Funko Pops. So she ordered the set. And that got me to thinking about my thoughts on the band and their first album, which of course Grogu has here. And, I'll be honest, in the 80s, when Duran Duran first, began to hit the airwaves and MTV and were propelled by MTV, I was not a fan. In fact, I think it was probably safe to say I was one of their haters. Would you agree, Superfan?
Yes, I would.
Anyways, but also understand that Superfan and I are from different eras. I'm more from the era of the 70s. My music as a teenager would be things like Queen and Led Zeppelin, Elton John, David Bowie. Whereas Superfan, you were very much from the 80s and bands like Duran Duran, and U2, and David Bowie, yes. Interestingly enough, yes, would be your thing, part of your formative years. And I remember the day that you moved in was the day I heard Duran Duran covering Led Zeppelin's Thank You. I heard it for the first time. And I thought it was somehow symbolic or a message from God, so to speak, that this was the right move.
Well, maybe because we're 25 years on.
Yeah, that's right. So I guess it was. But at any rate, though, over the years, though, I remember early on when you moved in, I listened to their first album with you. You played it, and I was surprised, actually, at how much I liked it. Over the years, I've learned to certainly appreciate them a lot better as a band. And I certainly really like Andy Taylor's guitar playing. Of course, I heard Power Station, and immediately was, really liked him there. And then I began to listen to his guitar playing in Duran Duran a bit more, and checking that out because I think it was the bass player of Duran Duran who said when they formed Power Station, "You're really just underused in this band," and I really thought that too, that he was just tremendously underused. Once I saw him letting loose a bit more, and where his guitar was more front and center. At any rate, though, let's open these up here, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about them here. There we go, and slice that. Yeah, gotta be careful. Don't want to break your boxes. There we go. Okay. Just over here. Okay. Here we go. Here's the band. This is the first time you bought a whole band. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of guitar players, but I don't have a whole band either. So what do we got here? Let's take a look at them here. Nick Rhodes. He was the keyboardist. That's right. He was the keyboardist.
Yes, he was.
Let's see here.
Is.
Yes, was, is. They're still together, except, well, there's a few changes in the band. John Taylor. And bass player, yes. Very good. You're more familiar with him than I am. Okay. Andy Taylor, who was the guitarist. And he was blonde in the early days. Later he went to
his natural
color, yeah, but here he was blonde. And
this
in fact,
is the era of the first album.
This is them. This is all themed to their early days. Yeah, the looks of the early days. Roger Taylor, who was the drummer, and he was in the band, and then he was out of the band for a while. He took a leave of absence.
Yeah.
And now he's back in the band again.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember when he first left, he had said that he was. What they had said was nervous exhaustion.
Yeah.
And of course, here's Simon Le Bon, lead singer.
Yes.
I noticed on the first album, looking at the credits, that it was just all songs written by Duran Duran. Did they always? I don't know how much you paid attention to the liner notes. Did they always just do that? I know like Van Halen would always do that, even though Eddie would come up with pretty much all the music. I remember he said we just share everything because we're a band. So it was all songs written by Van Halen. Did Duran Duran just pretty much always do that? All songs by Duran Duran?
I believe so, yeah.
At least while it was the original band, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Maybe that changed later. But, it's after you got these, you said they were going to get these, I re-listened to Planet Earth again, the first album. And again, I was surprised at how much I liked it. I haven't really listened too much to the other albums, but in particular here, I really like the instrumental at the end called Tel Aviv. I really like Careless Memories. I like the title song, Planet Earth. And of course, this album has the hit single Girls on Film. And Is There Something I Should Know? Those were both big hit singles. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. It was a darker album than I expected.
Yeah.
Than what I would have thought. But yeah, I remember being a hater, with them. Just because, I'm a teen. I just getting out of the whole high school thing, but I'm still acting like a high school kid. And, and of course, I would say music was still very tribal during that time. People were getting really tribal about music, where you either if you like this, you had to hate that. It was kind of that type of a mentality. Everybody was like, metal's best, F the rest. There's only two types of music, country and Western. Everybody was pretty tribal about things. And nowadays, I don't think people are that tribal when it comes to music, which I think is great. I think people are just more like, open to whatever comes their way. And I think that's good. Certainly over the decades, I've learned to be more open-minded about music. And that has only been to my benefit because I've learned to appreciate more things. But when I was listening to this again just the other night, I was paying attention to Andy Taylor's guitar playing, and what I noticed about him is that, unfortunately, I don't know how what it was as far as the recordings, but his guitar sound was so thin in the mix that he almost sounded like he was part of the keyboards.
Yeah, they were always kind of a keyboard-driven band.
Well, yeah, very keyboard-driven band, but his guitar playing really felt more like keyboard textures. And maybe that's to his credit.
I think that was what they were going for.
Yeah. A guitarist who could create... He was very textural in this first album. And, and it's well known that they were kind of all pretty fresh and young on their instruments.
Yeah. I think he was probably the most experienced.
Really? Okay. Huh.
Andy Taylor, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I hadn't really thought about that, who might be the most experienced. It always felt like it was Simon Le Bon and Nick Rhodes who were kind of leading the band. Because, of course, Simon's vocals and Nick Rhodes on keyboards. And it's and like you said, very keyboard-driven band. And, of course, it was that period in the 80s where keyboards really started to take the dominant role over the electric guitar in rock, and rock and pop. And it just, that started to happen. But, yeah, listening more carefully, I can hear, okay, that's his guitar. He's being textural. I hear overdrive and distortion, but it's very thin sounding. And I kind of wonder what it might have been like if his guitar had just been a little deeper sounding, had a little bit more bass on it. It was very thin and trebly.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably
would have been a different sounding band maybe. But, you still have the keyboards, but but anyways, like I said, I guess it's neither here nor there. That's what they sounded like. Yeah. And they all seemed to like how they sounded. And they all seemed to be pretty happy with the album. So I guess it doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah, I think that the next album, the guitar was more up front.
Okay, I should listen to it. I said, I listened to this, but I've never really followed up too much. And of course, after Power Station, he didn't come back.
No, he didn't.
For a long time.
Until the reunion, yeah.
Yeah. And then he left again. I've always wondered why he left again. But I guess he wasn't happy. I don't know. But I kind of had a feeling after watching him in Power Station, and then he had his solo album, which I thought was pretty good. But he only did one. And I bought that album back when it came out.
Yeah.
But he never did another one, I guess.
Yeah. No. I don't know.
Yeah, I should look it up. But at any rate, though, so there they are here. You know, Duran Duran Funko Pops. And thanks for letting me show these.
You are welcome.
To everybody. I don't know how much my audience is interested in Duran Duran, but then again, when I talked about the Arcadia album and what a surprise that album was, there were a number of people who said, I'm pleasantly surprised to hear you talking about this album. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that the next thing you have to do is listen to Rio.
That's the second album?
Second album.
Okay, yeah, I should listen to that. And yeah, and definitely see how the guitar sounds on that one. And it's not all about guitars. Well, actually, it is because I'm a guitarist. But yeah, no, it's certainly not all about guitars. If it was, I wouldn't be such an Elton John fan. And at any rate, though, but there you have it. Superfan, thank you for sharing your Funkos and letting us all look at them here. I'm sure you're going to have fun displaying them. Are you going to keep them in their boxes, or are you going to actually have them like outside, like they're playing live or something?
I don't know.
I'm just curious. Of course, you know, they don't have their instruments. That's something that disappointed me. None of them have their instruments in their hands. They should.
They should, yeah.
They were a real band, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, they should have their instruments. I guess that's one thing that's missing.
Well, Elton John didn't have his piano, so.
That's true. In the Funkos I have, he didn't have his piano. Jimmy had his guitar though. And I guess my Prince, did the Prince one have his guitar? Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, he had his cloud guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to have drums and the keyboards.
Yeah.
In this type of a set, so I get why they did just the band.
Yeah.
Not the instruments.
Yeah.
They couldn't have the bass and the guitar without having the others, and Simon wouldn't have.
Well, he'd have his microphone.
He'd have a mic.
He'd have his microphone, yeah.
But your other Funkos sing, and they don't have their mic. They don't have microphones.
I guess so. But you know, but Jimmy has his guitar, and Prince
But
has
he's
his.
solo. Those are solo guitar players.
Yeah,
so.
that's true. Okay. Well, at any rate, though, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. And as always, if you like what I do here, be sure to click like, click subscribe, and smash that bell notification icon. And
now Funko just needs to make the U2 set. Because you know I'll have that.
Funko needs to make a Van Halen set. I wish there was. Or at the very least, I wish there was an Eddie Van Halen Funko. But who knows? Yeah. At any rate, though, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.